And we'll see exactly what that adjustment will be as we head through to our draft picking for Game 1 on Frog Isle between Matchpoint and District 69. Matchpoint, finding out of the blue corner, have the first pick. Oh, that was fast. Immediately, Makoa, the turtle, moves.
That's going to be that. So D69, they have to ask themselves the question, do we go pick up Fernando? Do we grab Androxus as well? As like we were mentioning, it's just not the greatest pick ever on this map, much less into Makoa. D69 taking their time with this one. Fernando and Ruckus going to be locked immediately. And the response I want to see out of Matchpoint here is at least the Maldamba taking that away.
Oh, you can't give Fernando, Ruckus, and Maldamba to District 69. They'll just run away with it. Now, we do know that we do have a history of Jera playing some good Ying, but still not the support healer that she used to be. Matchpoint looking to hover a Cassie. There we go. Maldamba with Kono's chosen, taken off the table. Cassie locked into, so Matchpoint have secured reliable frontline, reliable damage, and some very reliable support and sustain for their team at only 3 picks in.
So District 69 now have the pressure off them, I feel, to pick up that healer now with Maldamba on the table. Shaolin, the Desert Wind, going to be hovered, and Androxus, the Godslayer. Do they dare pick it into Makoa? Likely to be played by Wardoom. Shaolin and Androxus will be the selection from District 69.
Now Matchpoint are left with 2 picks to finalize their draft. One thing that is missing from their draft so far is going to be AoE damage. Eevee, who used to be the first pickup throughout the entire duration of the Eevee's Winter Classic tournament, has slipped through to a 4th or a 5th pickup for these teams. Will Matchpoint elect to go into the Winter Witch? She is hovered for the AoE damage. Buck 2. And let's talk about this for just a moment, because if Buck is locked in, this could throw a spanner in the works for District 69. Where is their flank pressure going to come from now besides Androxus?
It's a good question. These are both great pickups, not only just inherently, but against District 69 in particular. Elven Path really hasn't had the chance to play Buck at all today, and the Sky gets hovered, but no, the swift lock-in of Ying for D69 to lock in their team composition.
And I don't think we suspected anything otherwise. Ying, very necessary to supply some sustain to the side of District 69, but one thing that is missing again from D69's draft is going to be AoE damage. Fernando, the only champion which can provide that in the form of their Flame Lance, which means that Matchpoint can very easily itemize against the damage type dealt by District 69 by going straight into Haven, which we've talked about considerably early today. I've got a question for you, Nick. Would you consider Pip here to be a good pickup, potentially?
Against District 69...
Or rather, District 69 with Pip instead of Ying.
I don't really like it, considering Matchpoint only have one front liner. Cassie is extremely MOBA. Maldamba, I think I give it to Cuss to have the reaction time to be able to slither out of an Evil Mojo, and the rest, the flank is going to be so spread out. There's just not going to be a lot of grouping up, I feel, for Matchpoint. So I don't know if Evil Mojo is really the best look.
Potentially, although that slow from Pip can be delicious, but instead Ying with more sustain, just more reliable sustain with your drop and your fire and forget support champion picked up. Overall, good compositions from either team. Ruckus going to District 69 has been an important win condition of many teams so far, but Matchpoint, they play it regularly, so obviously they know how to break it. How do you think Matchpoint are going to approach District 69's composition, and how do you think they're going to start off that initial point fight?
They're going to look for a clutch dredge anchor onto either Shaolin or Androxus, I feel. When talking with Matchpoint prior to this event, you know, we looked at Wardoom a little bit, and this is the relatively new member of their roster who came back into the scene after taking a short break, and Matchpoint just really sat down and said, this is a guy that is going to make any team better, so we may as well pick him up, and it's going to be a lot on weight on his shoulders with this Makoa to be able to get those clutch dredge anchors onto those key targets shutting down. I'm looking at Perdo on Androxus. That's the most comfortable I think anyone on District 69 is going to be.
You got to shut down that hyper carry, though. You mentioned Wardoom, and I do just want to raise a brief point. Matchpoint only dropping 1 set since the summer circuits to Team Eager in their region was the week that they first picked up Wardoom, and now Wardoom's come a long way and gelled with Matchpoint very, very well since then. But considering that they were the weak link in the team at that point, do you think there might be a deficit there going into LAN championships? Will they be getting some of those LAN jitters, a little bit nervous?
You know, all of Matchpoint, I'm pretty confident. It doesn't seem like a lot of nervous guys. They seem very confident. Wardoom is quiet, though. Wardoom is kind of the black sheep on this team for me. He doesn't seem like he fits the kind of personality bill with the rest of them. He's quiet, he's calm, he's cool, collected. Plays on, I think, the highest sensitivity out of all of the players. I was watching him get his setup. He's got this piece of paper, right, which just, it looks like when your teacher allows you to bring one note card in for a test and you have so much just crammed on there. He has everything down to a T, getting set up, and he plays with mouse acceleration, a high DPI. It's actually pretty insane.
Mouse acceleration, that's a very rare thing for a lot of FPS players to really pick up, and to explain to those that you watching from home who don't know what that is, it's something which is often shunned by a lot of FPS players. The faster you move your mouse, the further you turn, so it makes it difficult for a lot of players to hit those sniper shots, those precision shots, because if you want to snap between player to player, then obviously you snap quickly and you'll way overshoot your target. You know, if it's what you're used to and it's what you want to run with, perfect. And for a player like Wardoom, who's going to be playing these tanks, often known for their Fernando play, that could be a very good pickup if they want to do a quick 180 and pop a shield up to defend their team.
Yeah, frontliners not often highlighted for having to be highly precise, but Makoa so much rides on that cooldown, that dredge anchor, and it is a precision skill shot with some travel time, with some lead time, with a lot of intricate mechanics alongside of it. A lot of follow-up can be very deadly. A lot of international teams leaning on that setup early on to give themselves the man advantage. So that is exactly what I think Matchpoint is looking to do. And this is game one. You know, a lot of momentum's riding on this Pride, like we mentioned here. None of them want to give this up. I feel like these are pretty try-hard drafts from both of these squads.
You're not wrong there, although the one champion I do feel that really stands out in the entire draft overall, out of 10 different champions, is Buck.
Agreed.
You got Eevee? Okay. You got a high mobility flanker that can get to the backline, try and put some pressure on Ying. I'm just wondering what Buck's actually going to do here. Who are they going to dive on District 69? I don't see any single target which they can jump on. There's no Victor, there's no Tyra, there's an immobile champion. Ying has deployables that she can move around on. Buck's going to have their work cut out for them unless they work very well in a duo with their Eevee.
You're totally right. That's the question here. And just, I want to speculate a bit about who's going to be playing who on Matchpoint, because a lot of flexibility here. Smidgen largely plays the Eevee, but largely plays Maldamba as well. Cutie being that Smidgen, I assume, is going to be on Eevee, I would put then Cutie on Maldamba, but then who's going to play Buck? Because that's where Cutie would normally fill in.
Very curious indeed, although if we want to draw some parallels perhaps to their European counterparts right across the side in the red corner, Perdo, known for their Androxus, Stolzy, known for their Androxus. Did you know that Perdo is a Grandmaster Buck?
I did not know that.
He is a very good Buck player.
There's no portrait for that.
It is very terrifying to see that locked into a lobby, because you think, oh, it's a Buck player. You know, I can deal with these relatively well, and then you find out it's Perdo, and you die.
You cry.
Yeah, no, your team just loses. They look at Buck and go, oh, okay, how do I deal with this? He plays Buck to a level which a lot of other players don't. Elvenpath, known for their typically aggressive play, Perdo a lot more selective, so I can potentially see Stolzy filling in that role.
Yep, you can kiss your elo goodbye, Wardoom. Actually, you know, I could see Dosups on Cassie, Wardoom probably on Makoa there. The Buck it's the wild card, like you mentioned. It doesn't seem like it really fits into this composition. It doesn't really seem like it fits into what Matchpoint like to play, but Shaolin gonna be the best target for the Buck, but he's gonna have to keep track of Planet's cooldown and not leap into that.
And especially not leap near a wall. We've all seen today how devastating Impaler Arrow can be if Shaolin manages to confirm a stun onto a flanker who's trying to get into the backline. But with Eevee and Buck to deal with, I think these two could work quite well as a pincer duo. You know, one comes from one side, the other one comes from behind. And if you do manage to land a couple of shots under Shaolin from both champions, well, that should be most of the primary source of damage taken away from District 69. I do feel like there's a lot of pressure resting on the shoulders of Shaolin, because they are the only real long-distance damage coming through for the European team in red.
You know, one thing standing out to me from District 69's composition as I look through these ultimates is there's not a lot of team fight power. All they've really got to bring it home is that accursed arm. There's not a lot of setup on the side of District 69. They've got some firepower here with Hexafire, with Accursed on, whereas the opposite is the case on Matchpoint, I feel, where they have all the setup they need, but nothing really to drive it home.
But the thing is, if you combo maybe Ice Storm and Dread Serpent from Eevee and Maldamba respectively, I think you can still get a lot out of that just with your default weapon shots. And don't forget about Buck's Buck Wild Ultimate. Double damage for a limited period of time, resets all cooldowns, reloads your weapon to full. That can definitely be used to clean up a couple of kills. And well, we combo that with Maldamba's 20% damage steroids onto enemies hit by Dread Serpent's Fear. That's starting to get a little bit dangerous.
Absolutely, and these tanks are going to start to fall. Repulsor Field from Ruckus is going to be a big team fight cooldown to be aware of. I wouldn't be surprised if Unbelievable played it here, but I anticipate that we'll see him on Fernando, as this is his comfort pick. This is the big matchup of the day, and D69 want to lead with their best foot forward.
And I do think you mentioned it right there, Repulsive Field. That's really the sink or swim element for District 69 for me. Ying, she's relatively consistent regardless of who's playing here at a top level. Androxus, well, we know that they're going to be consistent because it's likely going to be Perdo, Charlene as well, but Ruckus and that Repulsive Field. If Eevee comes in, looks for an ultimate, if Dread Serpent is dropped, that's going to be what helps keep the entire team alive. You combo that with Fernando's Immortal. I'm starting to see the sustained composition come out, if you know what I'm going for. Ruckus can keep their team safe with 50% damage reduction. Fernando keeps them from dying. Ying with their ultimate too will keep everybody alive and heal them back all up from the Immortal Ultimate's threshold. District 69 are going to be a tough cookie to break down, and Matchpoint are going to have to depend heavily on itemization if they want to break through their defenses.
Yeah, crowd control versus sustain and mitigation. Going to be an interesting split here. I imagine most of District 69 will go into Haven there. Eevee, though, that's going to be the wild card. Smidgen, like we mentioned, likely to be on this one, looking for clutch pickups here. Maybe he goes for Shaolin, and maybe Buck is just going to focus on Ying, because Shaolin versus Buck, oftentimes going toe-to-toe, will go the way of Shaolin, all cooldowns aside.
And then we start getting into a little bit of mind games with the defensive itemization coming from these two teams. Obviously, Matchpoint don't feel much of a need to go into blast shields, all of the primary source of damage from District 69 being direct, not AoE, but you're playing a Shaolin who might be targeted by backline assassination. Are you in an environment where actually Eevee is the primary threat to you, and maybe you can be the one blast shields on the team because you want to stay alive and maybe turn the tables on her if you get a good planted combo off?
That's the question, right? And this is, you know, I find myself in this situation sometimes as well, where you really don't know who's going to be targeting you out. And sometimes this forces you to wait to buy your defensive item. You know, in Paladins, you can only buy one item from each category. So if you really want to get the most bang for your buck, you want to be absolutely sure who is targeting you out in this team fight. And even, you know, granted, once you commit, you know, Matchpoint in District 69, they can see that. They can make the switch. They can communicate and decide who wants to be the target prioritization.
So we do talk often then a lot about defensive items being the first ones picked up by many teams just because you have more survivability. If you stay alive for longer, you've got more cooldown rotations available to you. You just deal more damage overall, and that can make a break or team fight. But with District 69 not exactly knowing how this game is going to play out, they could ease in with some damage itemization, I feel, instead. Now, what have we got to play into? We've got Makoa's Shell Shield, but that's not really much of a shield when you have all players focusing it. It's a bit paper thin. I'm expecting heavy Cauterize to come out of District 69 and very early.
Gonna have to definitely lean on the anti-heal. Big thing we haven't yet talked about is the possibility of resilience here. Maldamba, you know, we've seen Cuscutie serve up the hot, fresh noodles before, and we'd likely see him to do it again. It's especially good against Ruckus, forcing him to stop firing, reset kind of the wind-up mechanic that he has on those miniguns. So D69, if they can't decide what defensive card they want to go for, they could just go for the reduced crowd control.
And I do like the idea of that. The reload stun coming through from Maldamba is definitely something to take into account. And of course, once we get into game, the players will have their loadouts locked in. So by examining those on the scoreboard, District 69 can get a better idea of what style of play Matchpoint's Maldamba will be running. But again, it's a lot of guessing games, a lot of mind games for both of these teams, because nobody's quite sure who's going to be running who until we get into the game. And Matchpoint, they're a team of flexible players.
Absolutely, and Fernando's Immortal going to be so clutch in mitigating a lot of the wombo combo setups, the hard crowd controls looking to come through for Matchpoint, and that's why I really think Resilience might be a good look for Unbelievable here, because Dread Serpent, you know, being able to reduce the amount of time that he is feared, he's going to come out of that ultimate and it's just going to be able to buy time for him to get out of the ultimate, save his teammates, get into the Immortal, where as opposed, if you're not picking up the resilience, you're going to be crowd controlled and burned down for that entire duration.
And I think we saw that earlier today. Fernando taken out before they could use Immortal. Also, for example, Makoa taken down before they can activate Ancient Rage because of Dread 7's Fear could be a key element to go into. Whilst we have the opportunity, though, we want to shout out again District 69 from Europe, like Borito, who'll be appearing in Group B tomorrow, playing with a substitute on their roster because their team captain, Bugsy, couldn't make it here today, which is very unfortunate. They picked up Unbelievable, and he's got a bit of an unbelievable story himself, and I want to take you on a journey here, Nick. So Unbelievable, fabled for their pit play back in the early days of Paladins, finished in 4th place in the DreamHack qualifiers on Fate Esports. Then moved to Team Viral. In the full circuit, finished in 3rd place. Now, District 69, the 2nd seed out of Europe, and facing potentially the #1 team in the world. Could they look to make the 4-3-2-1 shuffle and dethrone some gods?
I mean, Unbelievable. He's been brought up, you know, for a reason. This is a guy I've enjoyed watching on some of those lower tier teams. He really was a standout guy, and it's tough to do as a tank. It's tough to do as a support. You know, Stolzy always holding W, making hot plays, getting the frags. It's very easy to bring attention to that, but it's just the little things that these supports, that these frontliners do that really make the difference. And you know, D69 are smart guys, the reigning lane champions here. They brought him here for a reason, just like Matchpoint brought Wardoom in for a reason.
You did mention, though, we'll come to that and again in a second, but District 69 reigning land champions, they have experience of this style of stage. In fact, DreamHack Summer in Jönköping, Sweden, that was a big stage indeed, surrounded by a lot of noise, a lot of distractions. Still remain cool, calm, and collected, but versus Black Dragons, they were the only team to really let a point slip through. And as I said right at the beginning of this draft, showing potential cracks in the armor, if Matchpoint are going to capitalize on that and focus down any single player on District 69 to try and open a fight up and open up some of those cracks, who are they going to be looking to pick?
I think, you know, they look at Unbelievable. If they can break him early, break his confidence on this stage, that's always a good look in terms of mentality shift, and he might be the one to do it. You know, if no one's stepping out of position from D69, I'm looking at Gara and Perdo, unlikely the Shaolin and Androxus. If they're just in position and Unbelievable's the only one within range of this follow-up, I mean, he's going to be the one that they're forced to look at.
No kidding. You want to shut down those hyper carries. You do want to shut down those wild cards because they can be potentially devastating if they go unchecked, and especially if they get into your backline. Perdo, notably a player who has a habit of doing that on Androxus, and when they do start hitting their shots and they do start confirming damage, then you got to turn around and deal with them very quickly, and that's what a lot of District 69 appears to depend on, forcing the frontline backline split and forcing the focus to be split in several different directions, allowing them to dismantle their enemy from multiple sides, push through aggressively.
Yeah, and I mean, Perdo even has an interesting storyline. You mentioned he played on high ping, low FPS, and no one really gave him a lot of credit. And then when he got to the LAN environment where all things were equalized on the playing field, he has that breakout performance.
And I love this as well because we saw Perdo go through, take down Torpedo at the time, who were pretty much undefeated on an online setting, and then face, and this is a good one as well, I just love this story. We saw Gaming at the time take on Warpath, Stolzy versus Cuscutie, back in the days when we had mirror matches of Androxus versus Androxus. Cuscutie getting the better of Stolzy in this environment, and then Perdo will take Andro and wiped the floor with them. 3-0 in a best-of-5 grand finals set to end it all at the Founders Tournament, which was absolutely unbelievable.
We're going to be very excited to bring you this set. We're having a bit of an issue on stage right now. We're going to work on getting that sorted out. All excited to bring you this set. We're going to throw you guys to a quick break and get you right back into the action.
Champions to the realm, to Vox and Pretty Hair's Storytime Cafe. We are very happy to tell you that we are about to get back into, or rather into, Game 1 of this 6th set of the day between Matchpoint and District 69 here at the Paladins Invitational at hi-rez Expo 2017.
This is the most anticipated matchup of the day by far. Both of these teams, a lot of pride on the line here, ready to get in the game. We've seen the draft be broken down just about every possible angle.
We can squeeze some more out of that somewhere. You know, there's some champions which we haven't really fully discussed. There's some players which, you know, they have flavor picks that they pick in ranked or casual games or...
I feel like this series right now is a metaphorical tube of toothpaste.
Okay.
And we've rolled it all the way up from the bottom here. There is no more to squish out right now. We are headed into game. Let's get this series underway.
And without further ado, for the last time, or rather for the last set today, let's introduce your teams. Fighting out of the blue corner, it is Matchpoint. Cutie will be on Maldamba. Wardoom on Makoa. Smidgen on Eevee. Stolzy picks up Cassie. And Doze Up takes to the skies and the ground as
Fighting
Buck.
for both pride and seeding. District 69 out of the right side of the spectator UI. Unbelievable on Ruckus. Elven Path on Fernando. Perdo on Androxus. Shippa on Cha Lin. Gera grinding things out on Ying.
Initial itemization coming through relatively standard. Matchpoint elect to go into the damage itemization, which was not what we predicted. Everybody on D69 being defensive. Nice Dredge Anchor starts things off, but Wardoom takes a bit of poke in return. Into the backline goes Buck. Can they find anything? I don't know, because Smidgen's being pressured out. Elven Path and Perdo pick up 2 kills. District 69 hold an early advantage.
Stolzy needs to make a decision here. It looks like he just wants to get out. A wise choice, falling back. Just clutch pickups right now, unable to convert on the Dredge Anchor. Wardoom was the first to fall. D69 with the initial point control, 42% and climbing, but Matchpoint are 5 strong.
And look at this, Smidgen being poked out early initially. Flicker will keep them healthy, but onto the objective again is District 69. 69% and rising. Matchpoint have got to get on now, or at least very, very quickly. Who's going to make a break for it? Dredge Anchor might kick things off. Onto the objective is Eevee, but they can't find a way in. 93, 96, 99. Eevee comes from behind, but she's taken out before she can contest into overtime. District 69 come out strong with initial capture point control.
Elven Path keeping things rolling right now for District 69. Kills are flowing for D69. See him pushing forward right now. Perdo right hot on his heels, keeping the picks staggered for Matchpoint right now. Feet cut out from under them, staggered and broken. Can D69 keep Matchpoint on the back foot?
Maybe if they can capitalize on the back of the Dredge Anchor. Reversal isn't good enough, but it is to confirm the damage back onto Wardoom. There's a trade coming out between these two teams, but Matchpoint aren't putting up a defense yet, having lost one of their frontliners, and now they are hard to push to try to shut anybody down. Nice Shaolin, arrows midair. Buck and Eevee going to be punished for that, but Doze Up comes in, picks up the double kill on Buck, and is hunting for even more blood.
Doso's doubling down for the double kill. Needs to find more here. Just not looking for it. Will find it with the heroic leap, finding his angle and blowing it wide open. Matchpoint right now leaning on Doso's here to break things open in the backline. Smidgen struggling to get it done right now as Eevee, but all 5 members are returning for D69.
Oh, and Doze Up confirms another kill onto Sheepa. Gets punished for it, but has taken out one of the primary carries of District 69. Where was this Matchpoint all the time during that initial capture point control? The payload, nobody's near it. District 69 forced back towards their base, waiting on respawns. Matchpoint looking like they figured themselves out.
Eevee has to go big in this game, finding a nice pop shot onto Shaolin, but now pressured out by Elven Path. You know he's going to continue to keep this up. The dot ticking through,
dear.
misses a blink onto the high ground, is going to be forced to take the stairs.
But at least has some healing from Flicker as well. That card which does heal Eevee every time she blinks, and blinks back with Wormhole to keep her in the fight. Dredge Anchor comes through on the Perdo, who gets shut down by Cutie. Elven Path dives on in, but he's outnumbered, he's outmatched, and will go down to Smidgen. 25 seconds to go. District 69 have got to find an answer to take this into overtime, because they are being shut down from every corner and every avenue.
Stolzy going big, finding a triple kill for the American Matchpoint squad, looking so strong right now. Bit of a lone wolf, but this is how Stolzy prefers it. Holding W, making hot plays, holding mouse 1, 3, 2, 1, ticks the clock, and no one from D69 anywhere close
But check out what District 69 did at the end of the round. 5 ultimates on the table. They don't want to give any additional ultimate charge to Wardoom, who did use Ancient Rage previously, only sitting at 13%. So they stay in base, not giving credits to their enemies, not giving kills to their enemies and ultimate charge. A very wise decision from the veteran team.
That is what it comes down to. Ult management so important when all the skills are equalized for all intents and purposes. Everyone's so good at this level. The Wreckers, though, starting to come through for Matchpoint, and this could prove to start to be a bit of an issue for D69, and their front line is going to get more and more fragile as the game moves on. Likewise, Elven Pass already hitting the mark there on the Cauterize 2 alongside Dosip, so anti-heal coming out in a big way just 5 minutes in.
Now watch out for Wardoom dashing ahead with Master Riding 2, trying to find an early dredge hacker, does actually miss, and now the deficit with the ice on Multiple could turn things up.
Nice.
Rampage of Stilzy takes out Pearl, Miniatures it off, takes out another with Smidgen, it's unbelievable falls, and is looking for more. Damage comes through on a Shaoling, drop backwards to safety, and retreats round the corner, trying to avoid any additional poke.
Great trades for both teams on the ultimates. No one taking a convincing win, however. Smidgen going down is going to relieve a lot of pressure off of D69's backline, and so is that Dredge Anchor missing. Moving in with the Shell Shield, Stolzy has got to go big.
Oh, the planted comes through. Jara cleans up Stolzy, and Matchpoint's primary carry has gone down. District 69 established back on the objective again, 60% and rising. Wardoom looks to make a move, but they've got no ultimate, and they're under half HP.
He's so low right now, cannot afford to get back in. Matchpoint again, making a wise call to give it up. It's a tough call to make, but it separates the men from the boys here. They don't want to feed any more credits, any more ultimate charge than they have to, but we are in overtime. Matchpoint making moves.
And we see Androxus come around from behind. Purtle looking for the kills. Elven Pass takes out Wardoom. Unbelievable kills. Smidgen as well. Matchpoint have nowhere to run. They're forced into the enemy's base. Stolzy shut down by Purtle. Overtime will tick down. 2-1 leads the scoreboard. Again for District 69.
That was absolutely huge, that trade between Perdo and Stolzy, because there were so many more low targets for Stolzy to rip through. They may have been able to make a comeback play. Wardoom, though, just under so much pressure, unable to find the dredge anchors that we're so used to seeing out of them.
And I just wanted to point out as well, when that dredge anchor came through, we saw them pull Ruckus in, but at the same time, Makoa was immobilized and took so much focus fight during that. District 69 min-maxing everywhere they can. Buck standing into the backline, but it just doesn't matter. Shiva trying to hold the avenue, is waiting for Eevee to blink in, gets the shutdown kill on the Smidgen. This could be a conversion if the respawn stays staggered.
This is a struggle right now for Matchpoint on the back foot. D69 target prioritization is on point. Stolzy's falling so low, needs to stay alive in this situation. Dredge Anchor's gonna pull one up onto the high ground, but here's the accursed arm.
Oh no, but the Shell Shield blocks all the damage. Stolzy comes back in with the kill. Unbelievable. Wolvie trying to frontline this fight, but the rest of the team are falling all around them. The Dozups and Wardoom clean up. Ancient Rage Makoa swinging along with their anchor, takes out everybody, and that's a full team wipe for the team in blue.
Matchpoint able to find the angle once again. Dosups specifically, when he goes big in the backline, he has the most killing blows in the game right now. Tied surprisingly with Gara on Ying, but he has been the clutch factor right now. Smidgen just not getting it done on the backline.
Well, they do have their Ice Storm ultimate available if they elect to go in. 55 seconds and falling. District 69 close to conversion, need to be held at bay before they can get towards the objective and build up momentum. Notably unbelievable, sitting on the Hexafire, excuse me, could be some trouble, so Smidgen decides to make their move, but they find nothing. Dread Serpent comes through, and it's all mitigated by Matchpoint, and everything is blue.
Lockdown not going to be coming out here. Stolzy trying to lock down some more kills. Wardoom, there's a double disengage, mitigated by the shield. Doesn't matter. Elven Path still going to fall. 25 seconds left on the clock here. Ultimates are being used close to the end of the round here. So again, District 69 going to be heading into the round likely with the ultimate advantage heavily in their favor.
And also, I feel like Wardoom can hear what we're saying right now, because those dredge anchors, which were missing earlier, allowed him to pick up 3 kills on the back of that fight. Now sitting at 5, 6, and 8 for a frontliner. That's a very respectable slash line. And again, District 69 take the high road, give up that capture fight, and don't feed their enemy any advantage.
Both of these teams, you can tell the respect between them. Matchpoint making pretty early calls to give up on capture points. Likewise, District 69 staying back off payload pushes they just don't see going through. That was very close as well. That was almost one more fight. Probably would have spelt the conversion for D69, but they back off. Still in lead of the net worth charts, however, Matchpoint. These late game items are starting to come through. So much anti-heal from District 69. Cuss Cutie is gonna have to bring more to the table.
But they are very tanky themselves, and we can see that Matchpoint are getting late game itemization on 2, and they have the damage now to break through District 69's defenses. Repulsive Field is all Unbelievable can bring to the table at this point. Early Dredge Anchor will miss from Wardu. Who's gonna make the opening play?
We'll have to see. It has yet to be seen. All the cooldowns available. Here comes the Hexifier, mitigated by the Fernando shield, is going to be buying space. Unbelievable finding the first kill in this engagement, finds the second as well.
So Unbelievable sitting on 2, looking for more, though back to the objective, stacking up capture for their team. 40% and rising is dredged into danger, but Advance will get them to safety, and all the while Perdo just swinging at the team planted from Shiva comes through to lock off an angle, and again Matchpoint on the back foot on the objective fight. Somebody's got to go in.
Nice bait though to get the repulsor field out early. Smidgen got in the backline, forced Unbelievable maybe nervously to pop it. It was just one of them. No one was in danger of dying. D69, however, no one from Matchpoint can get on the point. 3-2 reads the slash line.
It feels like a bit of an impossible fight. If you try and go head on, you go straight into Ruckus. If you try and go from behind, Shaolin is waiting for you, as is Androxus, and the Godslayer looking to potentially capitalize on the 3-2 scoreline with a conversion for the first set win. Accursed Arm is available. Will Perdo make their move?
Just so strong on the objective is D69's composition. Missed heroic leap from Dosep's going to keep both him and Stolzy pinned in a corner for the time being. And meanwhile, D69 are able to find 2 picks in this engagement. They continue to roll forward, momentum on their side.
And if District 69 want to keep up the momentum, I don't want to see kills coming through. I want to see heavy poke. Apply Cauterize, back off, keep everybody low on the side of Matchpoint so they can't capitalize on conversions from the skies. Death awaits you all, counted out by the Intramage from Makoa. So tanky, but he's being burnt down piece by piece. Immortal comes out from Fernando. Elvenpath keeps the team alive. And Red Team are in the advantage. District 69 looking to break through.
Colossal amounts of mitigation coming out from District 69. It just feels like it never ends. Matchpoint, as they have done 3 times before now, able to find the stabilization play late into the payload push, but these defenses are not going to win this game.
Absolutely, they can equalize to 3-3, but they've got to focus on the capture fight. And one thing which Matchpoint have been doing every single defense is using their ultimates. At this point, I feel like that's something that they have to save. But with 55 seconds left, now counting down once again, and District 69 pushing towards the payload, will they have that luxury?
This is the closest they have come with the most time left on the clock. Here's the Dread Serpent to start things off.
And up and down goes Dozos, but your sight fails you. Shaolin is in their Desert Haze. That nobody can find them, nobody can see them. Shiva picks up 1. Solzy and Cuss Cutie, though, notably answering back, but Unbelievable is on the payload. Hexafire is ready. Solzy dives on in, but Hexafire isn't even necessary. They will fall down. In goes Makoa, and now it comes, ripping and tearing through their opponent's shell spin. Will not get you out of danger, but the respawns keep on piling down one by one.
They all fall down, however. All the King's horses and all the King's men couldn't put Matchpoint back together again.
District 69 flexing their muscles. The second seed team coming out of Europe makes you a little bit apprehensive for tomorrow if you consider what Burrito are capable of, but on land, they are a completely different monster. Elvenpath, deep in conversation with the rest of his team, is eager to talk about what happened that game and prevent maybe some of those missed payload conversion opportunities from happening again.
I don't think Elvenpath stopped talking that entire game. I would watch him during these team fights. I can't see his mouth, but I can see his forehead. His forehead is doing all the talking. His face is just contorting the entire duration of these team fights. You can tell he is the leader. He is stepping up for his squad.
Absolutely, calling the shots, making the calls where necessary to allow his team to capitalize on some of the avenues of entry which are opened up. But rather than avenues of entry, it feels like Matchpoint that last game couldn't find any to get towards the objective despite their late game itemization.
They didn't have, I feel, the best composition. A lot of flank pressure. We highlighted this during our Epic Odyssey during the pre-match breakdown, but the picks just didn't seem like they were falling in the right spots. There Smidgen's Eevee not quite hitting the mark, sitting at about 4 and 8, I think was the last time I saw his slash line buck. Joseph did well on the buck for all intents and purposes, but could he have done better on something else? Maybe a Bomb King even ripping through some of these frontliners?
Potentially, and we'll have to find that out coming up next game. But for the time being, let's take a look at the stats from game number 1 and give you all a breakdown of what just happened. And let's see, ooh, interestingly enough, Stolzy living up to their name, topping the damage charts overall. But check out Sheepa's Charlene, and that's a player which I think we should talk about because they were waiting for the flanks.
Definitely, there's 75,000 damage. Great management, I think, of Planet. Given that there wasn't a ton of CC on this District 69 squad, firepower and mitigation was the name of the game for their team fights here. And the objective time for this ruckus, 283, where we barely saw anyone break 30 seconds on match point. And that was Joseph's, the squishiest character in Paladins.
I think that Unbelievable at this point is actually glued to the payload. I mean, one thing which they did very well was jump on the payload close to the end of conversion and then use Hexafire, because you're being carted along and all of a sudden you are a true roving death machine. That's a very scary sight to face. Often players will try and utilize the payload hitbox to hide behind, duke out some of that damage from Hexafire. I love the sort of instinctive counterplay to counteract that well, that, how should we say this, environmental hazard?
So much damage from everyone on District 69. Gera, 51,000 on the Ying. Not far behind Elven Path and Unbelievable on these aggressive frontliners. Everyone from District 69 was playing extremely well there, and that's going to be game number 1, ladies and gentlemen. We'll have to see where the rest of hopefully this best of 5 unfolds. I'm hoping we